Derek Chauvin has been sentenced to 22 and a half years for the murder of George Floyd. Will serve 15 years of that because you served 2/3 of the time sentence. Let's get a reaction starting with you, Ellie Honig.
Justice is imperfect. This is a serious sentence. Derek Chauvin will be in prison 15 years. He's 45 now until he's 60. That said, I think this is light. I think the judge should have sentenced him more. Minnesota guidelines say you can double the 15 years if there's one aggravator. This judge found 4 aggravators and didn't really come super close to doubling it.
Van.
Very disappointing. 15 years. I know people doing 15 years for nothing. I mean, for victimless crimes of drug possession. Very disappointing. The level of any one of those aggravators, what this man did, there should have been the maximum of the maximum, and this is disappointing. I don't think it's going to cause outrage, but it's a punch in the gut. This guy's life was worth more than 15 years. It was, and what that officer did is worth more than 15 years. And law enforcement across the country should look at something like this and say, look, you can't do this type of stuff. You're never going to come back home. It's disappointing.
Jennifer.
Yeah, I mean, the sentence isn't 15 years, so the sentence is 22 and a half years. So the 2/3 is good behavior. You know, that's a legal matter. The judge legally can't consider that when imposing sentence, right? He's got to impose a sentence that he feels is appropriate, and that sentence was 22 and a half years. That said, I do think also that it was like you all do. But
Commissioner,
30 years
Commissioner Ramsey's response. 22 and a half years, your reaction.
I thought it would be somewhere in between 25 and 30 is really what I kind of thought it would wind up being. It's 22 and a half. That's the judge's decision. Like everything else, you live with it. But as far as messages go, 22 and a half years, if you're the one that has to do it, is a lot of time. And so I think it's very clear that, you know, it's a new day now. I mean, police officers are going to be held accountable, and that's important and ought to be held accountable. This particular case is one of those that, I mean, it was just so egregious that it's just, there's no way you can justify it in any manner, shape, or form, in my opinion. Yeah. A little disappointing, but again, you know, that's a judge's decision. He made the decision. You live with it.
Ellie, let me get to Ellie on this 22-page memo and explaining this. Is that typical?
Yeah, judges in big cases will issue a memo explaining their exact reasoning. One thing to keep in mind, still 2 federal indictments pending against Derek Chauvin, right? One for George Floyd and one for the 14-year-old he assaulted with a flashlight. That time can be more than this, or it can be what we call consecutive, especially for the 14-year-old, because that's a separate incident, meaning it can run back-to-back, so it's not over yet for Derek Chauvin.
I was going to say that you have Anita Gupta, you've got Kristen Clark, you've got other people in the Department of Justice looking at this. The feds can come in and do more, and they should do more, because this is not justice.
A lot of pictures outside of the courthouse here. Reaction to what we just heard, 22 and a half years for Derek Chauvin for the murder of George Floyd. Looks like they're praying there. Jennifer Rogers, last word to you.